Well, welcome to Martini Time. I'm a little late today. As you can see from the lighting, there's no light coming in the front door. So I noticed boy, my hair looks good though. So anyway, I was late today because I was at the Heartfulness Meditation Center in Richmond on East Parham Road. Very nice center with large auditorium, classrooms, and they have a website, heartfulnessmeditation.org, and so they invited me to come and do a talk. Actually, it was a dialogue interview where we set up, and I was talking with a nice fella, and he, just asked me questions, and we got a good dialogue going. It was very informative and very enjoyable. I mean, it became a nice little discovery, I find. I love conversations that are like a meandering river, and they discover things as they go along. So there's no agenda, no preordained talking points or direction. So it's kind of like a controlled spontaneity, in that your talk is controlled and it's got a particular place and at a time, but yet it's allowed to be spontaneous. So you learn from it, and I learn from it. So if I didn't learn from my own talks, I wouldn't find them enjoyable. So it's a form of play, and I've really been, trying to understand play, and for me this is play. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. And play is play has no goal. So the means and the end are the same in play. You don't play for a particular goal. You don't play for money or fame. You play for the enjoyment of the play. So this is the means and the end are the same. So there's no division in play. There's no division in time. So play becomes a timeless place, you see. When there's a goal, when there's a purpose, when there's an agenda, when there's control, when there is design, you have time. See, here you are now, and you want to get to here. That's time. But when there's no here to get, you're all here. You see, there's no future in play. No future. Think about that. In play, there's no future. That's why we enjoy it. When there's future, we're not so happy. When there's future, there's stress. There's worry. There's anxiety. Too much future. Not enough play. And we think, well, children can play. But then it's time for them to grow up. Quit the play. Quit playing around like a kid now. Grow up and become serious. Now life is serious. Now you've got future. Now you've got a future to worry about. And insurance policies to protect your future, you see. And money. You have to get money to protect your future, you see. All of this to protect, control, protect your future. Science protects your future. Everything's about the future, which needs to be protected. Why is it we have to be protected in the future? Because we've got nothing now. So we've invested in the future. If you look at our economy, you look at our society, it's all about future. I went to Costco today after the talk. They got the Christmas trees up. I don't know Halloween, it's all Christmas. So that the future keeps coming in, the future of Christmas comes in closer and closer to the 4th of July. So anyway, I was talking about, so the talk to me today was play. And I don't know who it is from San Antonio, Texas, but I sure wish they'd stop calling me. So this idea of play, so that's why I do this. It's a form of play. And when I write on Facebook, it's a form of play. So I know people that drop off and say, I'm done with Facebook. Well, it's because they didn't know how to play. It's a form of play. And play is creative. And play is contagious. So you need two people to play. You can play by yourself, or you need two people, or a group of people, you see. But this reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Arjuna had a problem. If you remember the Bhagavad Gita, well, I'm sure you don't. But anyway, the Bhagavad Gita is kind of like the diamond of the Mahabharata, this great Indian epic. And there's a little jewel right in the middle of it called the Bhagavad Gita. And it's a very simple story of Arjuna, a great warrior, who is caught in the horns of a civil war. And he knows that if whatever he does, he loses. If he fights the civil war, he kills his relatives on the other side. If he doesn't fight, he destroys his honor as a warrior, you see. So he doesn't know what to do. So he gets his charioteer, who's Krishna, and he goes up on an overlooking the war, the battlefield, you see. And he says, I throw my bow down, I quit. I don't know it's a double bind. I don't know how to get out of this double bind, this lose-lose. Lose-lose, I can't get out, I quit. But Krishna said, well, you can't quit. Quitting is not doing anything. Quitting is doing something. So you've got three choices there, and all three are, it's either you fight against either you fight, kill your relatives, or you don't fight, and you kill your honor, So what do I do? So that's when the question opened the teaching. So you can't really have a teaching unless you have a question. The question stimulates the teaching. And so a great question stimulates a great teaching. So the greater the question, the deeper the question, the greater the teaching. Ask and you shall be given. If you thirst for a river, you will get a river. If you don't thirst for the river doesn't exist. It's not that you don't get it. It doesn't exist for you. So if you're not thirsty, the river does not exist. If you don't have a question, if you don't have a question to stimulate wisdom, there's no wisdom for you. There's no river. So, anyway, I had a nice talk. And I may be doing something else with them if I can find a way to do it in the context of play. I'm not good. I don't want to do, I got to teach this, and then write out to have a lesson plan. If I have to have a lesson plan or an instruction or something to teach, you see, now I got future. So I can only do what has no future. And this has no future. And when I write on Facebook, there's no future because I'm not trying to get anything out of it. I've given up. Although I like to have likes and comments, it's okay if I don't. So that was the answer to Arjuna by Krishna. You jump into the war and you fight, but you do your duty without expectation of fruits. You do it without an end. That's play. So you surrender to life as play. So this is an Indian, Hindu concept. It's called life is the play of God. It's called Leela. Life is the play of God. God is playing all this. He's playing with himself. He's not outside of creation, playing with it like creation, like it was a bunch of toy trucks, and he's just playing with it. No, he is the creation. He's playing with himself. This is God's play. And the energy of his play is Shakti. This is a feminine energy. All of creation is Shakti, the feminine energy of creation. And you can feel Shakti. When Shakti rises, it carries you. It sweeps you up, you see. And Shakti is play. So the Hindu idea of God is that It's Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the universal principle. Shakti is the concrete, the physical energy, the creative form, you see. And so that's the transcendent principle and the eminent. Transcendent and eminent, you see. And even Christian God has been defined like that, eminence and transcendence. Together, you see. So when the transcendent and the eminent come together, you have play. The transcendent is not future. Play is not future orientated, a means to an end, you see. The means is the end. The play is the end. The play is the goal. So you're just playing. And that means you're just here. And it also means you're totally here. You're totally here in the play. There's not a part of you sitting back thinking, well, this play's no good. You see. If you go to a play or a movie, you can jump into the play. Wow. Or you can sit back with your arms crossed and criticize it. Well, this play's no good. This movie's crap. I'm leaving. And most of us go through life judging the play of life like that. We're kind of like this Yahweh, this judgmental, this is no good. I don't like, this could be better, you see. So we resist play. We resist the dance. We resist jumping in. Why? Because we have to give up our self, our serious self. We have to give up our adult to jump into play. We have to give up our sense of separate self to jump into life. They don't go together. You can't jump into life and take your judgmental ego with it. You can't jump into life and take your self-image with it. Because the self-image is outside of life. It's not life, it's an image. It's an abstraction. It's a snowflake. So the snowflake can't jump onto the warm earth because it'll melt. So it stays aloof, frozen in time, you see. But reality is warm. It's timeless. And we resist jumping in because we will die. The moth goes into the flame, but we don't jump into it. So in that sense, life is a funeral pyre because it consumes our self-ego. It consumes our separate sense of self. And that's what play is all about. Play will kill your separate sense of self. So for many people, play is death. Oh, I'm not going to get on the floor and play with you. I'm not going to jump in. I'm not going to jump into the dance. I'm going to withhold. Keep a little bit back, just for insurance, you see. Just for the future. So I'm going to keep a little future back. Little future. A lot or a little. Just a little bit. But that little bit separates heaven from hell. Separates earth from heaven. Just that little bit. Just that little bit of holding back is the cause of our suffering. Just that little bit. Just that little bit. Just a thought is enough to create our suffering. That something's missing. Well, what's missing? Our play. You see? So, anyway, that's enough for today. So anyway, thank you for dropping in, and I'll see you in the morning.